All right, let's talk about relationships and falling in love. Okay, falling in love with potential romantic love interest, a potential lover in a romantic sense where all your chakras intermingle and intertwine. That's the word, okay? You know, all of them, the sex chakra, the root chakra, the heart chakra, you know, somebody you in love with and you would like to share a life with. Sharing a life with involves, you know, the root chakra, security, basic needs, sex, pleasure, power, which is, you know, like build helping each other find yourself in the world, you know, your place in the world, and then your heart, your love, and all the rest of it. Okay, some, you know, a love interest, a romantic partner. And in every time you fall in love with someone, there is an extremely high potential that you're going to grow emotionally attached to that person. Okay? And that is going to cause you a lot of suffering. So we're going to try and address the root cause of it so you understand your predicament. Because, like Buddha says, we find ourselves suffering because we are ignorant. Ignorance is the original sin. Ignorance is the original sin. We're going to talk about the original sin. The word sin means missing the mark, by the way. It isn't like, oh, you're evil, you're bad, you're terrible. It just means sin means miss the mark. And ignorance is. And we're going to try and bring awareness, illumination into the situation. I think almost everybody that is watching this video has been at one point or other emotionally attached to another potential romantic lover, somebody you've already been in a relationship with, you would like to be in a relationship with, a crush, somebody you've been in a relationship with for 10 years, who knows? But everybody's experienced that. And so you have to understand something, that the experience of falling in love with another being, another human being, as a human, is like a drop in the ocean of infinite love. So your love to another human being is finite, no matter how you look at it, because you're going to die and they're going to die. Okay, because everything is impermanent. Buddha told his disciples, his last words to his disciples was, all compounded things are impermanent. Work earnestly to gain your liberation. That was his last words. In other words, remember that everything's impermanent, everything's finite. Okay? So your love, you know, when you fall in love with someone, that's finite, that there's only one end to it. When you're gonna die, they're gonna die, the dream ends. You're all dream characters. And so it is a drop in the ocean of infinite love. Okay? And that's why heartbreak's so real. Because you feel like, wow, your heart, you feel it here, like a heart broken. My God, that person doesn't return your love, is no longer interested in you. Wow. Wow, you start to think I'm worthless. Who am I? You know, this person broke me down. And you develop depression, and maybe even for some time resentment towards the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever you floats your boat, right? And you start to, you know, develop all these issues. Well, you've got to understand that that is all a manifestation of the first moment of separation from the oneness. This is the original sin. This is eating from the tree of knowledge. This is eating the apple. Okay, I taught somebody today about the word apple. So yeah, this is like eating the apple. And what does this apple represent? The apple is duality. That's the tree of knowledge. We eat from it, we're dual now. There's me, I'm a male, I'm a female, you're a male, you're a female. And so that's the fall of consciousness, the moment of separation. You could think of it as when God hit the simulation button to create the dream state and experience itself in all these different subjective manifestations. And so that is painful, okay? Deliberately designed by consciousness to be painful so that you could eventually play this long ass game in time and space and eventually come back home. But you never left home to begin with, but you're just experiencing this in the illusion of time and space. So, and so there's suffering. That's why life is suffering, because so as long as you're separate, that on its own is suffering. Okay? You go back to the oneness and then you end all your suffering. That's what Buddha taught. That's what nirvana is. So when you fall in love with someone, you have an opportunity to merge with another being, which is really just you in drag, just you in a different manifestation. So you have this opportunity to merge with somebody else, another being, which is you. And it's powerful because that's the union. I mean, you can experience moments of mystical union and ecstasy when you're in love with somebody. And it reminds you of what it's like to be you, what it's like to be one, to be whole. It reminds you of that. I mean, we're all suffering here. Until we go back to the oneness, we will continue to search and suffer and seek. Okay? Seeking. This endless seeking is the seeking for the light, the seeking for the wholeness, which is already within you, which is you just watching the movie Brahman, right? So, it's all funny to me. It really is. That's why I'm having a difficult time keeping a straight face here. It's funny. The whole situation is tragically comical. So you're essentially trying to find yourself. You fall in love with somebody. Oh my God, it feels good to be me. A mystical union, right? And then you're like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And you start to associate that feeling with another person. And they become your source of this thing, of love. They become your source of wholeness. And now you associate the state of wholeness and oneness and unity and perfection with another being. Human being in this case. I mean, maybe you're into animals, but you know, I've heard weirder things. Okay? A few years ago, I read an article about somebody in some desert having sex with a goat, and I couldn't stop laughing for like 10 minutes. Poor goat. Anyway, so let's assume that it's another human being here, okay? So you associate the state of perfection with another human being, and then you grow attached to this being, thinking that they're the source of it, never realizing that both of you are sharing your essence with one another. And so there is an abundance of that because it is infinite and it is who you are. But again, in your separate self, you associate it with another separate entity, another dream character, another illusion, and then you grow emotionally attached to that dream character. Okay? So once you understand that that's what's happening, and you stop associating wholeness and perfection and feeling whole, feeling perfect, feeling at home, feeling at ease, feeling like you. Once you stop associating it with anything and you realize that is you, it becomes quite difficult actually to grow emotionally attached to another person. And then it becomes easier to love them, paradoxically. Ain't that funny? Ain't that another funny paradox? Is that when you are no longer emotionally attached to somebody else, or you see them as a source of love, that you're now free to love them because there's no fear. See, fear and love cannot coexist. When you are emotionally attached to someone, you are afraid of losing them. And often you end up losing them because the fear manifests itself. It's this one infinite moment, it's an infinite moment. Whatever you are in the moment creates your reality. If you're fearful right now, you create fearful things. So being emotionally attached to somebody is there is a fear element there, which is, I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose this moment of love, of care, of union, of wholeness, of perfection. And often you end up driving them out because of the fear. Okay, because then you create fear vibrations, right? And so there is fear. So love can't coexist. So it's a paradox, ain't it? The moment you stop being emotionally attached to somebody and you stop associating them with the source of love, with the source of light, unity, oneness, wholeness, then you could love them. You could absolutely love them. Now love can come in. Otherwise, the love can't come in. So most so-called love stories are nothing more than fear-based stories between dream characters, or with dream characters, right? It really, most of love stories are like that. Okay, they're really because most people are ignorant. In other words, they do not know their predicament, and so they fall in love. Initially, it starts off very authentic, like, wow, I love you. Oh, wow. And it starts off like that, always, 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 the experience of falling in love. But it's usually, they call it the honeymoon, right? It lasts for a little bit, and then, because human beings are mostly fear-based, they start to be afraid of losing that feeling, that, I'm home, it's so good here, it's so wonderful. So then, on your part, recognize, and you don't want to do this out of fear, because if you do this as a defense mechanism, like, you know what, next time I'm going to close my heart, I'm not going to fall to somebody very easily, because I realize now, right? I watched this idiot talk about it and I'm like, okay, he makes sense. I'm going to stop being emotionally attached to people. Yeah, you're doing it out of fear. You're doing it as a defense mechanism. Ha 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 ha. Who are you kidding? You don't do this out of fear. You do this out of understanding. Understand who you are. That's called self-inquiry. What are we doing on this channel is we're inquiring about the true nature of self. You do this by curious, genuine, wanting to know about your true self, your true identity, the true nature of self, Brahman, Atman. And from that place, with the understanding, you will naturally, effortlessly, you don't have to try, no longer get emotionally attached to people. And now you're able to love them. And paradoxically, they all love you and you love them, and it's a happy love fest. Okay? That's about it. Thank you to all the Patreons for supporting this channel. I love every single one of you guys, okay? And I'm deeply appreciative of your support, and very entertained by some of our conversations on Skype. And if you would like to support us, become part of the family, the Patreon family, show your appreciation in financial means, anything will help. I'd like to do this full-time eventually, right? And if you guys support, eventually I can do this full-time, although I really like this work, but maybe I'll probably continue to do this work because it's just so good. But I'd like to dedicate more of my time to this stuff, right? So I'd still like to do this, but if I could get more funding, more support, then I'll still do this, but much less, and this much more. Okay, and that's about it. Love you guys, love every single one of you, and until next time, may the force be with you.